On this layer, I'll choose the ellipse tool, then draw a new circle from the center, holding down the Shift key to constrain it to a perfect circle. Next, I'll invert the colors in the toolbar so that the fill is black and the stroke is white. I'll click on the stroke and just set it to a value of none. We don't need the stroke for this object, but what I will do, I'll click on Illustrator CS3's new tool, the eraser. This will allow me to draw a new path by erasing parts of the existing shape. I'll create a silhouette of some sea worms by simply clicking and dragging into my shape. With those drawn, I now have a single path, and that path can be copied into the clipboard. Now, if you're using a previous version of Illustrator, you don't have the access to the eraser tool, and you may have to make a further adjustment to the preferences in Illustrator. Under Edit, I'll go down to Preferences and select File Handling and Clipboard. This defines the way Illustrator copies those paths to the clipboard. If you're on a Mac, go up to the name of the application where you'll find a pull-down, and within that pull-down you'll find a link to the preferences. Selecting the preferences for file handling and clipboard, we see that there are two options. If you're using Adobe Illustrator CS3, a PDF is fine because Illustrator now knows to preserve all of the vertex information from your path. However, if you're using a previous version of Illustrator, you want to make sure that Preserve Paths is turned on rather than Preserve Appearance and Overprints. In previous versions, without checking this, the clipboard wouldn't know what to copy. This is what we'll use when we copy and paste. We're actually taking the data and putting it into our clipboard. Now with this set, we'll click OK and use Control-C or Command-C on a Mac. Now using Alt-Tab or Command-Tab on the Mac, we'll navigate back to After Effects. Now with all of the data for the path in the clipboard, we need somewhere to apply it. So in After Effects, we'll create a new solid. Using Control-Y or Command-Y on the Mac, create a new solid that is the size of our entire composition. You can choose a color or simply click OK. Now with this selected, go ahead and use Control-V or Command-V on a Mac to paste all of our path data onto this layer. We'll solo this layer by clicking on the Solo button in the visibility column so that we're only looking at this one layer. Now with this layer selected, type M on the keyboard to reveal the mask shape. We've just successfully taken a path that we've created in Illustrator and applied it to a mask in After Effects. Because mask paths in After Effects are vector shapes, they will continuously rasterize if we scale the path. However, if we scale the layer, the same is not true. As we scale this entire layer's transformation up, by selecting the layer and typing S on the keyboard, we'll start to see a very soft edge around the outside of the mask. We can't see that softness because the mask is on top of it. We'll turn off the visibility for the mask shape by simply clicking here at the bottom of our composition window. Now we can see how soft the layers become by scaling it up past 100%. We'll change the scale back down to 100 and change the size of our mask shape. We type MM on the keyboard, we'll get all of the different parameters for our mask. Now you can see that there is no scale value for mask path. The reason for this is that the path shape is defined by the position of each vertice along that path. In order to scale this, we need to select the entire path by selecting the name of the mask. Then we'll turn on the visibility of the masks at the bottom of the comp window and double-click on any vertice. By double-clicking this, we get the transformation handles for our mask shape, and now we can scale it by simply clicking on any of the transformation handles, then dragging it to rescale it. I'll hold the Shift key down and the Control key to scale it around the center. On a Mac, you'll hold down the Shift key and the Command key. Now, if I accept this transformation by hitting Enter, then turn off the visibility of the mask shape, I can see that the edge created by this larger mask is nice and clean. If we head back to Illustrator by using Alt-Tab or Command-Tab, we can turn off the layer for our sea worms. We'll go down here and create a new layer. With the new layer created, we'll go up to the toolbar, then under the lines, draw a new grid. The grid we want is the polar grid. So with the polar grid tool selected, go ahead and click and drag inside the window, but don't let go of the mouse. With the mouse still pressed, if we use the up or down key, we'll add to the number of rings by clicking on the up key, or subtract from the number of rings by clicking on the down key. If we use the left or the right key, we can add to the number of pie shapes by clicking on the right-hand button, or subtract from them by clicking on the left-hand button. If you subtract enough, you can create a shape with no subdivisions. I'll simply hold the Shift key down to make sure that it's a perfect circle, then release the mouse. Remember that I don't need to put this in the center of my composition, because I'm going to collect all of the path data and then paste it into a mask shape in After Effects. So with all of these points selected, I'll use Control-C to copy it into the clipboard. On a Mac, use Command-C to copy it into the clipboard, then use Alt-Tab or Command-Tab to get back to After Effects. On the deep red solid, I'll select the previous mask that we made and simply use Backspace to delete it. Next, I'll use Control-V or Command-V on a Mac to paste our new shape. I'm going to use Alt// or Command/ for you on the Mac to see the new masks I've created with the paths. Here inside of After Effects, each one of these masks is set with a mode for difference. I can see the mask by turning on their visibility with this small button here at the bottom of the comp window. This is a very easy way to create some radial masks inside of After Effects. Now by pressing F2, we deselect all of the masks and can select each one individually. By double-clicking on any one of the vertices for the particular mask selected, we can then transform the entire mask shape.